I saw that technique on full display the other day with Crystal, or we put that into exercise. I was sitting on the couch just
Good
eating.
job, Crystal.
I was sitting on the couch eating, and she was vacuuming,
and she was on
vacuuming,
it, man.
and I said, "Do I really have to lift my legs right now?" And she goes, "Yeah." So I lift my legs, and as she was vacuuming past me, I said, "Don't waste a trip." I gave her my empty bowl, and she took it into the kitchen. So I saw that on full display. So I can vouch for that. I've witnessed it. It's very effective. Good job, honey.
Right when I'm taking a drink of water.
Spit all over the mic. This is the Roundabout Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm John.
And I'm Jeremy, and today we are talking about standards of cleanliness, how to keep everything in balance, and how often should one change their underwear. All right, so
we're 8 episodes in.
Back at it. We are officially over the hump of the vast majority of podcasts that do not record.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
We are part of the minority at this point. This is cool. I'm excited.
That's very cool.
I'm excited. We're recording 3 episodes today. To let you in on this is a little inside industry secret here. We don't record 1 episode each week. We record them in batches. So
yeah, sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah,
you expected
up to date
podcast,
weekly news and.
Well, I got a confession to make here too. We're 8 episodes in, and I'm pretty maxed out in outfits, dude. I'm serious. I don't have many more shirts to.
That's another thing too. We change clothes so that you don't know. Oh man, we're blowing the lid. Blowing the lid wide open on this.
But I'm glad you did, because I may just roll with this shirt for 3 more episodes.
so I'm gonna change. So hey, you just never know.
You're gonna keep up the facade.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That says a lot about you, Jeremy.
With the people need to have their illusions. Okay. All of our
the dozens
fans,
of people,
dozens and dozens.
We got a nice little following though, and I appreciate that.
It's been fun. Okay, so here's something. We're gonna break a rule of podcasting. Don't do a call to action in the beginning of the show. If you've been listening, and I know that there are friends of ours and family members of ours who haven't rated us on Apple or Spotify or subscribed or whatever, and I want you to feel guilty right now. I want you to feel guilty and condemned. Not condemned. I'm just kidding. But
how dare you?
How dare you?
How
sirs,
dare you, people?
Sirs and madams.
Mom, you better have liked us. On all platforms.
She already feels bad enough, John.
I know.
Okay.
My mom, she's such a sweetheart. She really is. And she's so supportive, and she's always been supportive in everything I've done in my life. And as I said before, when I see her, I think she's a little nervous if she isn't up to date on what we've posted or recorded. So, again, I'm going to say this. I said it before, but family, friends, we just love the support. Support doesn't necessarily mean tuning into every single episode, but at least go like us. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. I mean, we have our Roundabout Facebook and Instagram page, but we also have personal Instagram.
Yeah. Which I never post anything on my personal, but hey, maybe that'll change. Instagram is one I'm still trying to tackle that monster, but
I encourage you to follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Either the personal or the Roundabout or both. On my personal one, I share a little bit of things, more personal, and some of the activities I do, and maybe some of that will be relatable as well. And I'm sure what I talk about here will be reflected in that as well. So,
but if you haven't yet, please subscribe, rate,
please
review.
We're desperate.
And actually, this is something too. You guys have friends that you're connected to on Facebook and Instagram and stuff that we are not. And if you share an episode, and
You're
maybe we
give
can
a discount or something on.
We'll give you 20% off your subscription fee to this podcast.
That's very generous.
You know what? Limited time, 50% off your subscription fee.
Wow.
If you share an episode, we'll give you that much off.
But wait,
there's more.
If you share it with 100 people, if you share it with 100 people, you'll get a limited edition signed T-shirt. Did you know we have T-shirts?
No, I did. It's news to me.
Well, I'll tell you what. If somebody shares it and gets with 100 people and gets us 50 likes, I'll go have a shirt made and give it to that
Hey,
person.
I've got T-shirts.
You have my
ideas
word.
already. I want to draw some T-shirts. Happy birthday, Brad is one. You said that in episode 1. There's a couple other ones. Anything in loaf form.
We're in
That was another
episode 8. We're already doing the greatest hits.
merch.
We're reliving
Yeah.
the.
Oh yeah. Oh hey,
Wow.
you had a phrase. I have a running list of T-shirt ideas that I want. There was one thing that because I said and we will at some point soon readdress the weight loss fitness. We're kind of ramping up here into some of that, but in one of the episodes I said my weakness is cookies, loaves, or whatever. And you're like anything in loaf form.
Is it loaf form?
Well, if it's singular, it's loaf with an F. Plural is V. John,
You just corrected me in front of everybody. Wow.
Oh.
Again, what did I said? I have
I
horrible
can't help
grammar. I have horrible grammar.
I
Horrible.
corrected my son on the Bible app the other day because I'm like, as your homeschool teacher, it's YOU_RE, not YOUR. And please use some periods instead of just commas to separate all your.
You want to talk about spelling and grammar and writing? The younger generation. Again, not to sound like some old crusty guy.
Well, it's a texting generation. Everything is just like a thought,
simple,
a thought.
Yeah. K.
Oh,
U.
Yeah. So it's I'm
and I've used them too.
I correct. We have a. I correct many of my friends, and I do it in love, and I hope that they know that it's in love, but I can't help myself sometimes.
So basically, he's a jerk to everybody.
I'm not.
But you know what saves him from being a jerk, though? Is he does it out of love.
In love.
Does it in love.
It's love.
As long as you say it's in love,
quit being an idiot.
you can correct or one-up somebody.
No, we have Kim Bessa. I get her all the time. I correct her in love all the time, and she knows. She's like, I'm like, I can't help it. But we have a Colombiana friend. Mi hermanita Evelyn. I don't know if Evelyn, if her family says Evelyn or if they say like Eveline or something like that. But
I would guess it's Eveline.
Evelyn, I correct her, but she appreciates it, right? I think she appreciates it.
It makes her a better person.
Everybody I correct appreciates it.
It's in love,
hey,
and you're just.
I do what I can.
Yeah, you want to do what you can.
I do what I can
to improve people.
Evelyn, I hope you appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it's it is a just share an episode, okay? That's
all we
what
ask.
That's all I'm saying.
Could you
here.
at least do that?
Share an episode.
Just share one episode. Is that a lot to ask?
Huh?
Huh? I mean,
He's a clean boy.
Huh?
I'm gonna hunt you down on Facebook, and I'm just gonna correct all of your punctuation and spelling on Facebook if you don't share an episode. So
what are we getting into today? Should we get into what I think we're going to do?
Cleanliness?
Yeah.
Cleanliness.
This morning I had a little meltdown.
Our friend Alex Hogan, this past Wednesday, she goes, you guys should talk about cleanliness.
I think she was giving you a hint, though, Jeremy.
Oh, well, man, maybe.
You guys should talk about body odor.
She hasn't been
and like brushing your teeth.
We already kind of touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
But as a main episode here, we're going to talk about cleanliness. And as soon as she said that, I thought, there's a lot of fun directions that we can go to with this. So, John, tell me about your morning.
Oh, not a good morning.
Tell me about your morning.
All right. Well, just to give you a little context, if you haven't noticed by now, especially those that know me, I'm a pretty high-strung guy. I get pretty.
They don't know that.
That's true. They don't know that. But I'm a very high-strung guy. I get pretty worked up. I get worked up pretty quickly. I am a neat freak. I guess I could say I have OCD, where I just like things tidy and clean. Although there could be a difference there. Just because you're tidy doesn't necessarily mean you're clean, right? I mean, I could have garbage laying around here, but if I sort it,
very organized,
it could be very organized
junk.
Yeah, pizza boxes here and
in alphabetical order.
But I'm both. I'm a clean freak, and I'm obsessive compulsive with things being tidy and neat. And so this morning, well, actually, let's rewind that. On Monday, I've decided to cut out coffee for a while here. I don't know what benefit it's bringing to me. It's just making me more anxious and
it's just delicious.
Yeah, and I'm trying to work on eating better too. And I find when I drink a lot of caffeine, throughout the day, I get this false sense of being really, really hungry, and it's just drinking coffee on an empty stomach. So, and some of you probably have had that issue too. Anyhow, so I cut that out. This is kind of a weird thing, and you got me second guessing what I'm doing with this allergy pill here. So my wife's like, "You should." This is the weirdest thing, and I'd be very interested to hear if this happens to anybody
episode
else.
Right here.
Yeah. But my wife says that allergy medication like Claritin, and I don't know what the other ones are. Claritin is the main big one. She says when she takes it, it makes her very like hyper and like heart racing and everything. But for me, when I take it, it has the opposite effect. I get really mellowed out, and that's really weird because you even thought that was strange. Does it make you jittery?
I've never taken an allergy pill in my life.
Oh, you never have? Okay.
But I've heard that allergy medicine is more of like a, I don't know if stimulant is the right word, but I think it's more along those lines where it would tend to make people more jittery and dried out.
I think most people get jittery when they take it.
Yeah.
Opposite on me. I get really mellowed out and just like, so my wife prescribed me one of these a day. And I don't know if it's killing my liver or what. I should do some investigating.
Dr. Lewandowski prescribed it.
But you were saying like, or she said they use this stuff to make meth.
Oh,
so am I like, she turning me into a meth head here? Holy cow.
I freak out. I just genuinely freak out. Substances, like putting substances in my body that I don't understand and stuff. Like I don't even like taking
chemicals and stuff.
Ibuprofen and stuff. Unless I feel like, oh man, I just really need, and then I'll take like super low dose and just one and done.
Well, like, my goal is to eventually not use this.
You're gonna wean yourself.
Yeah. But my goal is to get off it. But, wait, that didn't sound right. My goal is to stop using it. I don't need it. Wow, this really sounds like I got a problem.
Using.
Yeah. But so I've been taking this, and it actually has been working very well for me in combination of cutting out the coffee, right? So this morning, this is the first weekend on this regimen, this new regimen. And so I get up this morning, I come downstairs, and she comes downstairs, and with it being the weekend and not having to go to work, I never got into my mode of, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, So I never took this allergy pill, this Claritin. So I'm kind of walking around and
not a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor. But so I'm walking around, and tell me if you guys have ever had this, but Jeremy, have you ever had this where there's a certain point in the day, it's usually mid-morning, the sun hits everything perfectly to where everything looks disgusting. We have a dog, so I see dog hair everywhere. There's fingerprint. I mean, the lighting, just everything looked dirty. And for me being the neat freak that I am, I totally went into anxiety mode. And so I look in our, what do you call that?
Cabinet?
Not the cabinet, like to keep all your
pantry.
Pantry. We have a little pantry. I open the door. Everything's nothing's organized. We got beans over here, beans there. So I'm like kind of getting hyper. So then I go.
No, wait a second.
What?
Just to be clear. No, I'm just for context here.
Okay.
John is, I don't know if he would be clinically diagnosed as OCD, but John's the kind of guy who, like, I have to give an example on camera here. Okay. I don't know.
Well, I'll fill in the blanks here.
If this is where this microphone stand's supposed to be, and okay, you're gonna hear some noises here, and I had it like this, John, if he had predetermined that it was supposed to be here, he would move it.
Yeah.
I mean, like the minute that I walked out of this room, he would move it back to where it needs to be. And there's some
funny
examples of this at his house, but. So for John, for you to say like, oh, this is everywhere in this pantry and stuff, relatively speaking, for you, it was probably a mess. But for most people,
that's what makes this funny.
Yes.
I think most people would be like, what?
That's fine.
So, and I'm fully aware that it was my OCD kicking in. In hindsight, I look back and it's like, wow, that's a little extreme, John. But so I go in there and I'm like, this is all messed up, and then. I said something very mean to my wife that I'm very sorry for. I apologize to her, but I made some snarky comment like, do we ever vacuum around?
Do we?
Bad move, John. So that got her started. So then she starts gutting out this other closet area where we got all these kitchen gadgets and stuff because I pointed that out. And so I'm high strung. I'm like, this is. Meanwhile, I know you're on your way here with, in the next hour or two. That's why I text you. I said, can we make it 11?
Oh,
because I was already knee
why.
deep in every. So I took everything out of the pantry and I'm organizing it the way it should be in my mind, right? And then my wife's going through the closet and she's sorting all that stuff. And so I finally get to the point where I'm starting to realize how ridiculous I am once I see everything strewn around the kitchen and,
He faced all of their
spices.
Their pantry goods and their spices and stuff.
I feel really good about it, by the way. But anyhow, so
no, it is. There's
it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So, but the means of how it went about wasn't appropriate. As I said, I apologized to my wife. I said, hey, look, this is. I know I went about this wrong. I could have had a better attitude about this, but I said, don't you feel better now? And she agreed. So it's one of those things that you have these little quarrels with your spouse here and there. It was nothing too serious. Nothing got physical.
You didn't punch her this time.
Get over here. But the thing that was funny about it though was, again, I was off my regimen, so I'm going through and organizing everything, and somehow I didn't even notice she did this, but I turned around and on the counter where I was setting everything, she had that allergy pill sitting there.
Well, okay, and she, because so before John was telling me the story when I got over, she kind of was interjecting a little bit. She's the way that she told it was not like, oh, I just set this pill down and until John noticed it. She goes, no, there's gonna be a loud noise here. Okay. She goes, no, I took that allergy pill out and I slammed it down on the table, and she was like take your pill.
I did not even notice she slammed it down.
Oh,
I was I was in my mode, man. I was getting stuff organized. But yeah,
what percentage, John? What percentage of housework would you say that you do compared to Crystal?
Well, apparently my wife told our entire church family that I only turn off lights in our house.
You turn them on at night.
Turn them on at night, turn them off in the morning or whatever. But we did this not newlywed, like a couples game, married couples game where everybody they ask a question and your spouse answers and you're supposed to see if your spouse
do your answers match.
Do they
up?
match? Yeah. And so the question was, what percentage? This was being asked to the husbands. What percentage of house duties or chores would you say your wife says you take care of or participate in? So I remember sitting there thinking about it. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie to my church family here, right? I mean, my wife does do a lot, no doubt. I'm going to acknowledge that. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, so I know it's not 50-50. I know she does more than that. Maybe it's more 60-40, but I'm like, you know what? She does a lot. So I'm gonna go further than what she probably even is gonna acknowledge to honor her, to show everybody that she does a lot. So I'm like, I'll do 30%, or I do 30%. She says I do 10%. She holds up that she does 90%. So that's been kind of a running joke, but I still think she believes that though, and that's not true.
Not after today. Not after that cabinet clean out. Well, by the way, honey, we're coming home with a juicer today. And
the Brown family has
right place, right time.
Hit the jackpot today on kitchen gadgets. but I don't know. I've always been a clean guy. I like things in order.
He's a clean boy.
I'm a clean boy. But you can even ask my mom. When I was a kid, I always cleaned my room. I always made my bed. I was just, it's always been like that for me. And then not having kids has allowed me to really nurture that in adulthood. So
now it's interesting because that is something that I wanted to touch on is with children. And this is something that I think because of the age range, I think that most people that are watching, having children or not having children, that is a huge distinction. And it's not necessarily, some people still maintain, like, well, Mo, who joined us actually on episode 3, go watch it. Still, do you know that's our most listened to episode?
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
But Mo that was on, she's always been, we talked about that, we touched on it a little bit, that she was always super into cleanliness, and she I don't want to bust her out. she's got some habits. Okay, with her cleaning, she's got some habits. Um, Mo, I got your back there. But anyway, they have the two girls, Presley and Kennedy, and she's just always maintained she's always had those high standards of cleanliness and tidiness in the house and everything. But some people and I will admit this is definitely us. I was just talking to Raven this morning, my wife, about this topic and how once you have children, I don't know if it's your standards, if I would say it that way, but your expectations or your maintenance of the cleanliness, it can change.
Oh, it has to though, because you have to face what's practical.
Yes,
kids in general.
Crazy.
Kids in general are not, and when I say kids, very young kids.
Yeah,
I mean, your kids get into
Oh,
preteen.
yeah.
You start telling them the
expectations and responsibilities.
But yeah, it's unrealistic. I mean that I hate to keep comparing kids to my dog, but that's my boy.
The boy.
But it would be like me expecting not to see Tucker, his toys laying around and hair. There's certain realistic standards that you have, and yeah, as you have kids, and if you have many kids, I mean that becomes even more impossible to keep things completely neat. So I totally get that.
Oh,
I feel guilty about it when I have people over to my house that I feel like I know some people that will not allow me to come to their house because they're afraid I'm going to be
really
judging them or something.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, no.
But I'm not like that. It's not like I'm
have
going
them over.
Yeah, have me over
Come
for
on.
dinner. No, but you know what I'm saying though. It's like I have standards for myself. I don't expect that on everybody.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, and it's so like I'll just say to our situation. Before we had children, I've never been a germaphobe. I've never been weird with germs, and I know some people are like that. Raven's never been weird with germs. Like we have certain things that we do to try to prevent sicknesses from traveling. We'll keep the kids home or whatever, which is practical things, but nothing. We've never been like, oh, don't touch that; it's got germs or anything like that. We don't stress. We don't do like hand sanitizer and stuff, whatever. But before we had kids, I was closer to your end of the spectrum. We'll call it a spectrum. As far as not OCD, but if the house, if it had been a day or two and the house kind of got untidy, I'm talking like when we first got married. Let's just say that. Or I'll rewind even farther. Like as a kid, I was one where it's like cleaning your room and it's like this is where this thing goes and this is where this thing goes and this is everything had there was a system of like this is its place. And if it's out of place,
can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
That's what I always get frustrated with people because I'm like, to me, it just seems so natural. And that's what I got to understand, that it's not natural for everybody. But for me, especially in the workplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
It drives me nuts when stuff isn't put back where it goes because to me, that's inefficiency.
Yeah.
When you got to look a half hour for something. And again, I understand there's some situations and households where it's very unrealistic to expect everything to be neat at all times. But I never understood how you can't, if you have a spot, well, I shouldn't say I never understood, because again, I do understand when there's, certain situations, but it always frustrated me when I knew there were people that in similar situations as me, that they couldn't put things away because it's like, have a spot for it. And how is it so hard to put that back? I don't know. It just confuses me.
I play both sides of the fence on this. I really, really do, because there is, so I was always one of those where it's like when we first got married, this is where this goes, this is where this goes. But when you're busy, you get caught up sometimes in like, and I hate this about myself, and I'll catch myself, and I'm like, and I'm trying to teach like my kids, don't do this. So if this gets put away over on the shelf over there, if that's its spot, don't just like bring it in the room and set it down and like in your mind say like, I'll put that away later. Like take the extra 5 steps, put it where it belongs, because that you're going to save yourself a lot of hassle later on trying to find that thing that you didn't quite put away, and now it's in like a pile of tools. I'm like notorious with this with tools. Like work on a project, go put it on the workbench. I'm coming back to that or whatever, and then like a week later, I'm doing something else, and it's on the workbench, whatever. And finally, I'm like, I can't stand this anymore. I can't find anything right when I need it. I have to dig through this pile of tools to get what I want. But yeah, there's a tendency sometimes with people to just do it halfway, where if you would just go the next 3 steps,
a lot of it's habit forming. I know growing up, and I'm like this to this day, I think, because my father was like this. My dad was the kind of guy that he couldn't relax unless everything around the house was done. So like he couldn't sit down, and he expected none of us to sit down unless dishes were done, things were put away. And so I think it's just been so instilled in my mind, and
that's such a good way of doing it.
It is, but again, I've nurtured that to the point where it almost becomes crazy. Like where
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Almost becomes crazy, but there is a very real psychological thing. Like if you need to focus on something and have your attention on something. If I need to write something or do something, if I want to draw something or do work on what A, B, or C project. If there's less clutter and less mess around that my brain's not thinking about these different things, my attention's going to be able to be on this thing.
Exactly.
So yeah. These are very real things.
Well, yeah, and same thing. It's like I can't fully relax if I know there's tasks that need to be done.
Yeah.
And could you debate what the importance of these tasks? Sure. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody. What are you doing going to watch TV if your pantry isn't alphabetized or organized? I'm not saying that. But, stuff laying around, and just normal everyday tasks, garbage taken out, that kind of stuff. For me, again, this is just me, I can't relax unless that stuff's all done. Once that's all done, then I can fully relax and just enjoy the downtime, and that's just how I've always been.
Well, and this is what you just said your dad did with the kids is something that I'm trying to get in this habit with our children, where it's like the meal's done. Everybody just, or even just randomly sometimes when I'm home, I'll say like, everybody just blitz.
Yeah.
Like just do a blitz. And it literally takes about 10 minutes.
Exactly. That's the thing. Everybody
especially
chips
when you have
in.
18 kids.
Yeah.
Like,
and counting.
Like, everybody blitz. Pick up anything you see that doesn't belong.
Yes.
Pick it up, put it away.
You know what?
Wipe down the surfaces, sweep, do the dishes, get everything done. If everybody helps and has a good attitude, we'll get this done in no time, and then it's just comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And you worked as a team, and there's learning in that too. But I thought this, you brought up the point of this is very important, having a spot for things. I have often seen people, they're messy because they've never designated a spot. So they get overwhelmed when it's time to clean up because they're kind of like,
I don't know where
well, I'm not sure where this goes. And they keep changing where things go. And, and okay, I think this is clean. And so what you just said, Jeremy, this is what I would recommend people do. Take a day or take some time to establish designated spots for specific items, and once you had that in place, cleaning is so much easier because it has a home.
You know where that goes.
You know where it goes.
So going back to the children thing though too, this is where it gets tough, and there's a balance. There's a balance in this because I've got like our 1-year-old. He's not gonna. Father, where would you like me to put this thing? Like he's not. It's not like this.
He has an accent.
He's British, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Dad,
Daddy,
where's my ball? He's more like the thug. He's like, I don't care where this goes. I'm just like,
Dad,
make me put it away.
Dad, can I bum a cigar?
Dad. So it's like, but okay, Titus is his name. People have joked. So my last name's Brown, and my kid Maximus and Silas and Titus are my boys. And they say like Titus Brown. It like sounds like a linebacker for a football team or something like that.
Titus Brown.
Titus Brown.
Nebraska University.
Yes.
Maximus Brown, wide receiver.
Anyway,
I can't think of any more colleges.
Yeah,
sorry.
He it's a balance of like, okay, here's this 1-year-old who we don't want him to just know, we don't want him to fall into and I know he's young, but the younger you start with this stuff, the easier it is.
Yeah.
But we don't want him to have this idea of like, it doesn't matter where anything goes, just leave it around and somebody else clean up after you. Like, that's a bad mindset. But we also can't expect to say like, Titus, go clean up your things.
Yeah.
And like, he's going to go put it where everything belongs, So some of that is like, you just made a point about taking the time to do some of the organizing and stuff. There's also the thing of like, take the time to, if you do have children, take the time to show them where things go and how to do things. And even though you may not see the immediate fruit of that, the immediate like benefits of that, after a while, go say, go put your ball away. And if they've seen you put that ball with them, like take them by the hand and do that 15 times, there's a higher likelihood that they know, okay, this ball goes into this basket or whatever.
Yeah. For sure.
But then there's also like, pick your battles, because, there's times where I'm like, hey, that's your room. If you want to
live in that pigsty, yeah,
and whatever, but outside of your room, don't leave your stuff laying around,
Yeah.
or I will beat you
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
to a pulp. You know what? Where I struggle though, and where it gets unhealthy, I think, is, and I know it's often we have fun with it when we have people over and everything, and people that know that I'm OCD, they'll mess things up, move a chair, and do all this stuff. It doesn't irritate me to the point where I'm like, I can't have these people over anymore. It's never to that point. But I find myself where even when I host men's Bible study here, you see I'm constantly picking up because I just don't like things unorganized. But it sometimes robs me of the enjoyment of that social interaction. Does that make sense? Where I'm like so consumed with, oh, I got to get this cleaned up, and oh, look at, they left that sitting there, that I'm not just enjoying the moment with those people. And that's where I think it gets to the where it is a problem.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's Julie Wolski posted on the community page, because I asked them, I posted on there earlier, give us some ideas or some thoughts on cleanliness and different things like that. And one of the things that she said, it was, growing up, or even in her family, when she had children at the house, like, everybody shares the responsibility, but also don't get to the point where that's your highest priority in the world over like spending time, just taking the time and stuff.
That's a good way to put it. I sometimes prioritize that over.
And there is a balance, so we talked about time management on a recent episode. And one of the things is like, take those few minutes just to do a little bit of something.
Yeah.
And this is a running joke for years with our friends. And I think it started with Matt and Bree. But it was laundry. Laundry, especially when you have kids, is a very easy thing that can get away from. Even if you're by yourself, laundry can get away from you. Especially if it's like down a laundry chute and out of sight, out of mind, or whatever. But sometimes people end up with like a pile of laundry, and it's like, oh man, I'm gonna be doing laundry all day to try and catch up on this thing. And I believe, I'm fairly sure that it started with Matt saying, just do one load a day.
It's
if you
true,
do
though.
a load a
I
day,
tell Crystal that all the time. I do.
90-10.
I do. Because she'll complain about it. I'm like, it's just you and me. Jeremy's got 20 people in his house.
Yeah.
And they always got fresh clothes on.
So fresh. Yeah, I wouldn't.
No, but it is true, but that's with anything, too.
Right.
That's piling up.
And so part of that is teaching our
editing
our
videos,
boys,
editing videos.
We'll get there. Hey, I still got to catch up on thumbnails and uploads and everything else. But like teaching our kids, like my boys will do their own laundry sometimes.
Yeah.
But even just that idea of one load a day, even if it's in Matt and Bree's situation, even if Bree was the only person to do laundry, the thought was, if you do a load a day, you'll stay on top of it. It won't get so backed up because, it's the idea of don't let it get away from you. So with cleaning, I think in general, cleanliness and stuff, just tidy up a little bit.
Yeah.
I at the shop, I just challenged Josh Bessa, works in the shop with me. And
I love how you word things.
What?
I didn't yell at him. I challenged him.
I challenged him. I did challenge.
In love.
Dude, yeah,
in love.
No, I told him, I'm like, Josh, and this is I
have a challenge for you.
This is not I did not do this in a prideful way.
Okay.
But here you got. And Josh, I'm not trying to make you look bad. So please don't just know that this is just an example of this where, I challenged him. I said, okay, this is not out of pride, Josh, but I said, I bet you when I'm out in this shop and I'm putting, because we get just equipment and materials and stuff come back from jobs, and it just all at once it just gets dumped on us.
Yeah.
Like we could have a perfectly clean shop and everything just gets dumped from a weekend of jobs coming back or whatever.
Yeah.
We come back and it's just a mess. Like, so I said, I bet you, Josh, that when I'm out here and I'm like, if he's gone or doing something else or whatever, or off or something like that, or whatever, I said, I bet you I'm probably about 3 times faster than you at just putting stuff away and doing stuff. And part of it's just hustle. And so I challenged him on that. I'm like, you're an 18-year-old kid, man. Like, so Josh, please, I don't mean to blast you here, but this is the idea of when we clean, are we distracted? Are we focused on what we're doing? So that's one thing. Because if you're like halfway in it and you're like on your phone doing Facebook, of course cleaning's going to take you for forever because you're not actually focused on the task. You're kind of like distracted and doing whatever.
Yeah.
So like if you're at home doing that, so I said hustle's one thing. Like if you're going to take some time to clean, nobody really has fun cleaning. Maybe John, I don't know. but I said, so hustle, like just be quick about it. Like go put it and move on to the next thing. But another thing too is just the efficiency of like, and this goes back to what I was saying about around the house, like, of having a thing where like maybe it's a little bit at a time, but like if you're walking through a room and you see something on the floor or something somewhere that it doesn't belong, don't in your mind think, I'm gonna do that when I clean. If you're literally walking past somewhere and you see something, and this was just the technique that even when I was a kid, growing up at different jobs, cleaning up construction sites or doing whatever, my thought was always like, don't waste a trip. Don't waste a trip. Like if I'm, and this is what I was getting to with Josh at the shop. I said, if I'm going to this side of the shop, I'm gonna once I get to that side, if there's something over there that I can go and put away, I'm gonna go and put it away, and I'm just gonna keep on just doing that. So that way, there's no wasted steps.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like say I'm cleaning this side. I'm gonna go put that away and then go back and get another thing here and go put it back. So
I saw that technique on full display the other day with Crystal, or we put that into exercise.
Oh.
I was sitting on the couch just
Good
eating.
job, Crystal.
I was sitting on the couch eating, and she was vacuuming,
And she was on it,
vacuuming,
man.
and I said, "Do I really have to lift my legs right now?" And she goes, "Yeah." So I lift my legs, and as she was vacuuming past me, I said, "Don't waste a trip." I gave her my empty bowl, and she took it into the kitchen. So I saw that on full display. So I can vouch for that. I've witnessed it. It's very effective. Good job, honey.
Right when I'm taking a drink of water.
Spit all over the mic. Hey, random question. I know we're talking about cleanliness, but really, in all honesty, we're not really talking about cleaning. It's more tidiness and organizational type stuff.
Okay,
let's get into cleaning.
So that's a question.
Let's talk about clean. Like how shirts.
Mm-hmm.
How many days can you wear a shirt before it's not clean anymore?
It's subjective. Some people, and it depends on the shirt too.
Well, so, how long have you had that piece of art on?
Not this is
very French. It's kind of French.
Very European.
It's kind of
just
like,
European.
No, it's more like Renaissance. Like
it's the asymmetric. So here's the story with this sweatshirt.
Very classical.
Just lick the microphone.
Out of taste. Like your breath.
Like. Oh,
speaking of clean, it's time to clean
off the rail.
Hey, speaking of cleaning, it's time to clean that mic sponge.
We've got that spray.
No, the sponge.
No, I know. We got that apple spray.
Yeah, but
stuff.
I thought you were supposed to spray that under the metal part of the mic,
not
the sponge.
I don't know.
No, honestly though, bro, I hate to do this in front of everybody, but I took a whiff of your mic sponge.
It's bad.
Woo! She's right.
It's not.
You need to soak that thing.
Just bleach water it.
Yeah.
So this is so I'm okay. I'm okay with my standards to
let's hear it.
Okay, so any undergarment,
underwear,
okay, or a t-shirt, anything that touches your body directly,
your skin,
like that, to like your armpits or your unmentionables or whatever. I'm like a one and done.
Hold on. Unmentionables?
Your privates.
Okay.
Your
I've never
rear
heard
end and whatnot.
There's another T-shirt. Unmentionables.
And unmentionables. Ooh. So like underwear, T-shirts, socks, one and done.
Okay.
That's
a one and done for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One and
Really?
done. And
I wonder how many listeners agree with that.
Well,
I wonder how many people are listening to this right now going,
listeners,
I'm going on 3 days with these
post in the comments. Now we just alienated all of
like I'm done with these guys.
No. And this is everybody's got different standards, but I feel like
you're one and done on undies.
Now,
all right.
So
I'm with you, by the way. I am. I can't wear a pair of underwear 2 days in a row. Flip them inside out.
Inside out, front to back.
Yep.
Inside out
you
again.
Get 2 days out of those.
The thing is though, is that listen, I'm just going to say it like it is. I'm a sweaty guy. Like I'm a sweaty guy. And if that sounds gross, it's just
you always do kind of a glisten.
You
look shiny. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess, I'm not like constantly sweaty. But if I get moving, I can work up a sweat pretty easily. I'm a furnace at night.
Always sweating.
So for me, I'm like, I don't just more than 1 day for that, any of those items, T-shirts, socks, underwear, but jeans, sweatshirt, something like that. A few days. I'm not weird about it.
And again, it depends what you're doing too. I mean, if if you're like running around sweating all day,
maybe
you're
one
not wearing
shot.
those jeans for 3 days.
Right,
I guarantee
maybe
it.
a one shot thing. So what about you?
I think I'm pretty similar to you. I used to, when I was younger, there were sometimes I would change twice in a day. I'm serious. Like I was very like, I feel like the shirt's getting old. I need something fresh.
Like teenager?
Teenager. Yeah. As I got into adult, definitely one day on the undergarments. Is that what you call them? Underwear?
Undergarments? Because like a T-shirt, I wouldn't call underwear, but I guess it kind of is in some ways.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, so undergarments, definitely one and done. Mm-hmm. Socks. Sometimes socks I'll do 2 days. That might gross some people out, but sometimes I'll do socks 2 days. But shirts and pants, it depends. So I'm with you. I'm kind of in line with you.
And neither of us are stinky fellows.
Yeah. How about showering? How often do you shower?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day. I have to.
I would say for the most part, that's a general rule of thumb for me is shower once a day, but I know that there's times where I might skip a day. Well, and it seems to happen in the winter a lot when I don't have to like do my hair and stuff. I can just throw a hat on and throw a jacket on. I'm not doing anything. I
just feel. I mean, part of it is work. Is like I'm dealing with like slurry dust and like cement dust and stuff. And so that's part of it. But then also, this is going in directions that I wasn't expecting necessarily. But like I use natural deodorant, so it doesn't have baking soda and it doesn't have all the junk and whatever.
I'm with you. I do too.
And
the chemicals.
For me, that's like a 1 day max. I don't care if it says 40 hours.
It doesn't.
No,
those natural deodorants do not hold up.
No
I mean,
way.
There's some times where it's twice in a day. You might have to do a re-up.
Re-up
on a warm day.
Re-up on that bad boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, how
about brushing your teeth?
Every day. Every day.
Twice a day or once a day?
See, and
I'm a twice a day.
Listen. That is, I 100% would agree. That's ideal. In the morning because you get some stinky morning breath, and at night before bed, I just don't.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm morning and evening.
I'm in the morning.
You know what's funny though?
We make our kids brush their teeth at night. But
you hypocrites.
I am
you hypocrite.
Such a hypocrite.
There's a couple that I know that, and I'm not going to say their names.
Oh boy.
But
I
think they told me they do not brush their teeth in the morning, which blew my mind. I was like, how do you not do that? You get up and you're like, you get that kind of film, and I'm almost positive they said they do not brush their teeth in the morning.
Yeah, that would weird me out because that's like I've for a very, very long time, that's where I feel it's the most
that's what I would think.
Useful.
Yeah, because all night you're just breathing in
mouth open.
Yeah, your mouth is basically an air purifier. And the next morning it's like you got that You know what's horrible? I don't know if we ever talked about this before, but when you know you have bad breath,
Well, you just did.
But when you know you have it and you have no means of freshening it up and you're in a public setting, that sucks.
Eat something, drink some water, do something, because like anything helps more than just like.
Do you ever have a situation where you didn't even have any of those things accessible, where you try to talk without pushing any air out? You're just like kind of sucking in as you talk. I've been there. Yeah. And you try to use the least amount of words as possible. Like there's no need when you have funky breath. There's no need to say hello.
You're like,
yes, it's you're just nodding and
Yeah, I just so here this will harken back to episode about Raven's awkwardness again a little bit too. I've noticed like if I've got BO for whatever reason, working, you haven't taken a shower yet, at the end of the day maybe, or whatever the reason's been, backpacking, I feel like just pull a Raven. She will put herself on blast.
See, I can't do that
all the time.
I don't have the,
and I'm convinced it's a defense mechanism to like
take off.
You
the
can't
stress
make
of
fun
worrying
of
about
me.
That. Yeah, exactly.
If
I
I've
already
done it, you know. So, but I think
see, I'm too embarrassed to do that.
Oh, see,
and that's pride. That's a form of pride.
If they're gonna smell it, they're gonna smell it.
I know, but it's. I'd rather figure something out.
You're like
seriously.
You're like the
MacGyver
of self.
You said you sweat a lot. I'm not that sweaty of a guy. I'm not. Crystal even said, she goes, you're not a very smelly guy, which she loves.
That's the highest compliment.
It is. Thank you,
You're
honey.
not a very smelly guy.
Yeah. But I'm not. I don't sweat a lot. Because you can smell when you smell, right? I would think.
You
most
catch
people,
a whiff of it.
Yeah, you're like,
stinks.
Yeah. The first instinct is to blame it on somebody else. No, but when you realize it's you, it's like, ooh, I got to address that. But my goal is to never get to that point. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I know I'm doing something sweaty, it's like, okay, as soon as I'm done with this, it's shower time. You know, it's like I'm not going out to dinner after that.
So what would you in the realm of cleanliness?
Okay.
If we wanted to just say something to the listener,
to encourage them or help them,
to encourage, help, like if in your mind, and now granting that, like especially with home tidiness and neatness and stuff like that, but just hygiene. We haven't even talked about like sterilization, like that level of cleanliness. But what would you say is your gist of like cleanliness? Where would you recommend that people fall in that whole category?
Well, I'll start by saying I know I'm extreme for myself. And I said this earlier, but I do not hold other people to those extremes. I'm fully aware that I'm to the point of where it's like.
So be gracious to.
If I'm gracious, here's what I would say. Listen, bodily smells, as far as personal cleanliness, it's a consideration to smell good, right? You don't want to be hanging out with somebody.
Get it together, people.
But you know what I'm saying? If you know your breath's kicking, don't get in my face and start talking to me, all right? If you smell like BO, stay a little away, keep a distance or whatever. But I guess what I'm saying is be considerate of others when it comes to bodily smells, right?
Okay.
And I understand there are situations where, you can't control it or whatever. You had no chance to freshen up. I mean, you said Raven, she'll throw it out there. Hey, I know I smell.
Give a heads up.
I didn't have a chance. Yeah, give a heads up. But try to do something about it if you can. So that's what I would say as far as cleanliness. So I think everybody should have a certain high standard to self-cleanliness. As far as home cleanliness, it's what you enjoy living in, right? Or what you're comfortable living in. If you're having people over, it's the same thing, I think, kind of consideration-wise, where you don't want to have people over with your underwear laying on the floor. Right?
If you don't clean up your house and then you invite people over and it's a mess or it's slobby or it's just genuinely dirty, don't be offended if they don't want to come back to your house. Too. Then on the other side, and this is where I said be gracious, and you said I was saying it more in the sense of like a recommendation to people is be gracious to other people because their standards may not be up to par of what everyone like it might not be white glove clean But also don't expect that from everybody.
What word did you just use?
Gracious.
Gracious. I would say etiquette too. I mean, it's just etiquette, right? I mean, you don't want to be smelly in front of people, and you don't want to be super slobbish or messy in front of people. Now, I'm saying for the most part too. I mean, again, we all have moments where you can't control it, or your kids were just playing and you had somebody over and you didn't expect them over. So there's going to be moments.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
But generally, I think everybody, to sum up what what I just said and what you asked me about, I think personal cleanliness, we should all strive to take care of ourselves and our bodies, right? And as far as home cleanliness, I think everybody's got their own standard and how they were raised, and all that plays a part into it. But I guess I'll preach here that if you're like me, where you have really high standards, don't expect that on other people, or don't push that on other people. And I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. And
on the flip side, if you are more of, or less, I should say, of a neat freak, don't make fun of those that are super neat freaks. So I'm preaching to everybody. I'm very sensitive right now. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
How about you? What do you got?
Well, I would say I would sum up what we've been talking about with the balance of things. I would agree 100% with the things that you said, that there's a consideration on, and this is love, and this is the spiritual side that we always get to at the end of the episodes. But this is that idea of loving, where it's like, look, if I'm going to invite you over to my house, or if I'm going to expect you to be around me, I'm going to try to be not a slob about things, in general, whatever. Plus, it's just not comfortable, in general, anyways. But also, there's what we were just saying about being gracious, is that if somebody's got some bad breath, I'm not gonna
Is it polite to tell somebody that, by the way?
Well, again, we touch on. I think that you can do it in a way, and if they want to be offended, that's on them. But I think it is considerate. I would use the word considerate. It is considerate if you've got bad breath, John, and you don't realize it for whatever reason. And I know you're going to be talking to people. I'm going to say, I'm going to pull you to the side privately and just say, John, your breath kind of stinks a little bit. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I will do that. I love you enough.
Sweet. That's so sweet.
I love you enough to do that. But I feel
so you won't make oh my God.
Pull a Carlos.
Yeah.
No, but one thing I wanted to add, and this is another thing that Julie touched on in the comments, was being a good. We've used this phrase before, being a good steward of what the Lord's given us, and I think that a lot of cleanliness, tidiness, in general, organization and stuff, there's a point where you tip the scale, because what one person thinks is being clean or tidy or being a good, taking care of their stuff, may not be the same thing as what I believe or what this person believes or whatever. But I think that there's something that we have to be honest with ourselves, and if we've been given, all of these things that we have in our possession to take care of, just disregarding their maintenance or their that cleanliness of the things and stuff, I think is something where we're saying I just don't care. I'm not going to take care of this thing because I don't care. But again, there's a balance. There's some things where it's well, that thing, it's a shovel that I use in the yard. I'm not going to necessarily hose it off every time I'm done using it. I mean, it's going to get dirty again.
I would.
Yeah. but there's a balance of these things, but we do need to be good stewards of what we've got. And so consider that, I guess, is the best way that we can do is be considerate of what you have, be considerate of others, and realize, and the phrase cleanliness is next to godliness is not a thing. It's not a thing. It's not next to godliness, but it's something that we can show our appreciation by taking care of things, or whatever. So
I think that's all we got for cleanliness, huh?
Yeah, we are.
Let's
after this, we're gonna go upstairs and wipe down some woodwork.
We're gonna wipe down some countertops,
and some windows.
Yeah, no, but we're gonna go grab something to eat, right?
Yeah.
So, can I say something gently? your breath stinks. So if we're going,
not yet.
I'm saying this out of love.
It
but your
doesn't
breath,
stink yet.
I
but
can smell it across the
I'm
table right
hoping,
here.
He's such a liar. Don't ever believe anything John says.
That poor little microphone.
Hey, we're gonna be auctioning these off.
Yeah. We donate. Yeah, it's like a game-worn jersey. You know, we take the mic sponge off, give it to give it to the fans.
Sign it with a white paint marker and send it out.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll grab something to eat and
change our clothes so you don't know.
I might again. I think I'm gonna roll with this shirt.
rock.
I'm gonna rock
man.
this shirt. I'm feeling it today.
What will I wear? What will I be wearing?
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed this conversation and maybe it helped. Maybe it encouraged. You certainly got to know a little bit more about our cleanliness standards. So
yeah. I don't know if I actually talked that much about like my house.
A little bit.
You know what? I got kids. Yeah. Use your imagination.
Yeah. We'll put up some pictures.
We'll post pictures before the Blitz and after the Blitz.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, join us next time, and we'll see you later.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Roundabout Podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Also, feel free to join us on the Roundabout Podcast community group on Facebook, where you can ask questions, submit ideas for future episodes, and connect with other listeners. See you next time.